Hello, I'm Tracy Ensminger. Welcome to my presentation of Action Research and Me. I was a graduate from Emporia State University, the Teachers College, obviously. This is me on my porch reading the book Mindset, and that's my dog Jewel down in the lower right below me, and then that's my pet fish named Fish. So what is action research? According to STEM Learning, action research is a type of inquiry that is practical as it involves making change to practice, theoretical as it is informed by theory and can generate new insights, and is concerned with change and improvement. It also refers to efforts by the practitioner to better understand what is happening in the learning environment and is undertaken by practitioners who are encouraged and reflective on their own learning. Purpose of action research, according to Calhoun, a problem-solving cycle for organizations that is practitioner-centered. The four main types of action research, well, throughout my readings, I found several different types, so it kind of varied on the article. I went ahead and went with Cilliers and Calhoun. So according to Cilliers, there are 5 types of action research: technical collaborative, and scientific technical positivist action research; mutual collaborative, practical deliberative, interpretive, perspective, enhancement approach; critical emancipatory action research, the critical science perspective; participatory action research values. However, Calhoun identifies 3 types: individual teacher research, collaborative action research, school-wide action research. And the goal of action research is to change and improve. According to Sagard, it is action to solve a problem. So the main steps of action research, again, according to Sagard, there are 6 steps, which include: identify the problem and envision success, develop a plan of action, collect data, analyze data from conclusions, modify your theory and repeat the cycle, and report the results. So the difference between action research and traditional research, according to Arnold L., the difference, action research is undertaken through your practice, the teacher's practice. It is about our own practice. It should benefit ourselves or the class academically overall and other key stakeholders. The practitioner takes a part in the learning process. The process spirals, whereas traditional research has the goal of an end result or a conclusion, where action research is a continual process. It spirals, you review, collect data, tweak it again, start again. So there are some differences there. Some common problems with action research, again, according to Arnold, are that it can be laborious and time-consuming. And there can be ethical issues with action research, and in cases would require the practitioner to get approval ahead of time to make sure that no ethical areas are being breached. So to evaluate my teaching process, action research, and reflecting for myself, after the readings, I do believe that I am an action research practitioner because it seems very similar to my continual reflection. Action could further improve my teaching due to the methodical note-taking that is involved in action research, where I tend to be a reflective practitioner at the end of each day, maybe even time warrants, at the end of each lesson, kind of reflect and think, oh, that didn't go so well. Here's what I need to do. I lost the retention here, and here's where I can fix it. Whereas action research, there's note-taking and there's data collection, and it's probably a more thorough process, so definitely would benefit my teaching, simply because if there are notes involved, I have something to go back to and no details are left out. So that is a benefit. Supporting my response, I would say, to defend my assertion, that as a reflective practitioner, I continually make changes to how I teach based on teaching strategies and outcome. However, I do lack in the area of regards to being dedicated to researching solutions in data, to take the time and get on the computer and do a web search for solutions to something that might be an issue in my classroom. And I think there have been a few times where a situation has called for a dedicated cycle of identifying, developing, collecting data, analyzing the data for conclusions, modifying, and repeating. But honestly, I probably am not dedicated enough to take the time to do that real in-depth action research. But of course, depending on the article you read, there are varying degrees of action research. Some seem real simple, and some seem far more in-depth than what I probably have ever done at this point in my career. Action research success on teachers and students. Yeah, action research is definitely a benefit to teachers, because if you're reflecting, you're improving. And if you're improving, your teaching strategies are being modified to address students, to address areas of need. And when we do that as reflective practitioners or action researchers, we are benefiting our students, because they're benefiting from the overall learning of the teacher and the structured classroom and the environment. So, critique of action research, personal and professional. My personal thoughts on action research: I had never heard of the process, but it sounds very similar to being a reflective teacher to me. It is also similar, I believe, in that it uses data, and I use data to guide my personal classroom instruction. I know it's not the same kind of data, but they both involve data use, being a reflective practitioner and action research. I have no misgivings about the practice whatsoever. I think it may be a challenge to get some educators on board, because the process may seem daunting. Reading it was a little bit of all the steps, just taking it in, but I do believe that it could be pared down to where it fits each individual practitioner's needs more succinctly. And I've always been a reflective practitioner, but I've never worked for a district that had presented action research as a way to guide teaching. Being a reflective practitioner compares in many ways to the material I read in regards to action research. I believe that there are many similarities involved in both processes. However, action research is definitely more thorough than what I currently am doing. So, how does action research support CLO? To lead CLO 1.2, I think that action research requires research and data use to be effective. So the process is about designing a solution and then implementing the change and reporting the results. And CLO 4.1, action research is a developed system that spirals for continual improvement, which supports academic learning. And CLO 4.2, action research supports equity as the teacher immerses themselves in the learning process from the perspective of the students. And if you're looking at your teaching from the perspective of students, you're getting a better equity lens on the teaching process and learning that's going on in that classroom. CLO 4.3, action research uses data to guide the changes and the improvement process of action research. And CLO 4.4, action research can help improve school curriculum as well as assessment practices by allowing students an opportunity to show what they've learned in ways other than formal assessments. Hands-on learning or project-based learning, for example, is one way that kids can prove what they've learned versus a test. I'm trying to get this out of the way so you guys can see my own statement, my PLO, mission, vision, and improvement, and learning and instruction. There's that. And then my references, 2 pages. All right. That's it for this presentation, and I look forward to this class. I have already looked over some of the other assignments that have been submitted, and I see some very familiar faces. So I think this is going to be a really fun summer event. See you guys again soon.